Okay guys, last video for today. We are going to do your social studies stuff. Your tasks for today are task 1 and task 6. It says write a 1 or more page essay sharing your opinion about which branch of government is the most important. Don't forget to share your reasons why. So make sure, I know I said this in a previous video, but just in case you missed it, make sure that when you're writing your essay, it doesn't have to be forever long, but you need to make sure that you're writing enough that it shows me that you're understanding what you're saying. So if you're just writing 2 or 3 sentences, that may not give me a whole lot to go off of. So make sure that you're writing plenty on here. You know what my expectations for you would be in class. So know that that is exactly the same as if you were at home. Number 6 says on the attached page, write which branch that part of the government belongs to. So they mean right here. So executive, legislative, or judicial, you're just going to put that in these blanks. If you would just rather write E, L, or J in each blank, you can do that. So it says after you label the branches in the chart, answer the questions that follow below the chart. So this part you're going to want to have access to Google for. So you just need to name one Texas Supreme Court judge. If you look up here, the Texas Supreme Court, there are 9 judges. You don't have to name 9, just pick one. Who's the Texas Lieutenant Governor? So that's only one person, so you're just going to write that one person. Okay, so any of these that have the 1 underlined, it means like that one has a bunch of people in it. You only have to pick one of those people to write it. Okay. So before I send you guys out to do that on your own, I wanted to do a quick review over the branches of state government, because I know we talked about the branches of government in class, but you may not specifically remember each one. So I've got some anchor charts I'm going to go over with you, and then I'll also be sure to post those so that you have access to them. So we have the 3 branches of government. Remember, judicial, executive, and legislative. Your judicial, remember JUD, like a JUD judge. So that's your courts and your judges, and those people make sure that the laws are fair. You have your executive branch of government. Remember that your executive is like your CEO, your chief executive officer. Your CEO is in charge of things, so your executive is in charge of things. That's our governor. He kind of runs the state, carries out the laws. So he makes sure that what he's, like the orders that he's giving right now are for everybody's health and safety and well-being. The legislative branch is also sometimes called the General Assembly or Congress, and it's made up of the Senate and the House of Representatives. So just like it is at the national level with Congress and the House of Representatives and the Senate, it's just like that at the state level as well. So over here you might see checks and balances. So you see this little arrow pointing over here. This is where the definition of that is. The 3 branches check on one another and balance each other out. No one branch is more powerful than others. Remember, we talked about the legislative branch might try to create a law, and it goes to the governor, and the governor can say, that's not a good law. We're not going to pass that. It's not what's best for our people. He can veto it and send it back. Okay? And then also, in the same way, if he sends it back to them and they say, no, you're crazy, this is for the better good, or maybe they make some changes to it and they send it back again, they're keeping each other in check. They're making sure that everybody has a fair say in it. Nobody has too much power or too little power. That way, hopefully, all the decisions that are made are for the better good of everybody. So here's one more page that explains it a little bit differently. Our government has many levels. Each level operates under the same system and works to make the country a better place for United States citizens. The state government is in charge of making decisions for that specific state. So who makes up the state government? The legislative branch, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives. Remember, they make the laws. The executive branch, which is the governor. In our case, that's Governor Greg Abbott. And the judicial branch is the state courts and judges. So what does the state government do? They develop and monitor the state's education system. All schools and school transportation is partially funded by the state government. So like right now, the decision that all of the schools will be closed for everybody's health and safety was made by Governor Abbott in our government. So he decided that it would be in everybody's best interest to not be gathered in groups. So he sent out an executive order to make sure that all the schools were closed for right now. They ensure that certain professions such as doctors, lawyers, and teachers have the right certification to practice their profession. So after I graduated college, I had to make sure I was certified to be a state teacher. or a teacher in the state of Texas. And what that means is you don't want to just have some random person teaching you or operating on you or representing you in court. They have to make sure that they're certified so you know that the person helping you is a professional. They monitor and improve the safety of state highways. So you might see them working on the road sometimes. That's being paid for by the government. They'll send workers out there to fix things or to make sure that all of the road signs are correct and they're accurate, or to build new toll roads for us to get somewhere faster. And it says to listen to and respond to the needs of the citizens. So that's their biggest job. Overall, the whole reason that we have any government is to listen to us and to make sure that we as the citizens are getting a say in things, because ultimately it's our lives that that's affecting. So all of them have to work together to make sure that that is happening. So real quick, I'm going to go ahead and go through your choice board with you for social studies so that I know today you have 2 specific tasks, but later on you're going to be able to pick your own. So I wanted to kind of work through these with you real quick just to give you an idea of what each one expects of you. So task 2 says build a leader. We all want to be sure that we have the best leaders possible for making decisions for our country. But what does it mean to be a good leader? You're going to draw a picture of a leader and write 5 traits that would make them a great leader for the country and tell why that trait is important. Task 3 says write a 1-page fictional story from the point of view of the president and then draw a comic strip about your story. So remember on your reading choice board, it did give you a link to a comic strip. You can use that. You can make your own. Whatever you want to do on that is fine. We are going to pretend that you are the president and then write a fictional story about it in the form of a comic strip. Task 4 says a government service is something that the government provides that's useful to a community. Government services provide us with education, help get us places, give us places to play outdoors, and keep us safe. List and draw 3 government services and then choose one and explain why it's important for a community. So this could be your schools, it could be your parks, that could be like your state park or just a public park. It could be your police officers, your firefighters, a hospital, all sorts of different places. So you're just going to pick 3 things that your government does for you, draw all 3 of those, and then pick one to explain why it's important for your community to have that. Task 5 says create a map of either your town or you can design your own town. Be sure to include at least 4 government services and 4 non-government services. So if you remember, we talked about things that a government provides and things that a government doesn't provide. Over here, remember, it tells you some things that they do have to give you. On your test several weeks ago, I remember we talked about highways, schools, first responders, places like that are places that things that your government has to provide for you. Roads, parks, things that your government doesn't have to provide for you would be like shopping malls or restaurants, places like that. Think like wants and needs. Your government has to fulfill your needs. They don't have to fulfill all your wants. So you're going to have 4 things the government gives you and 4 things that other people would have to build, like your malls or your restaurants. Label the buildings and use a map key to show symbols for things such as streams, trees, and other natural landmarks. Remember, that can be of either your town or you can create your own town. Number 7 says make a card for your postal worker or your mailman and let them know how thankful you are for them. And the way that you could deliver that, you could wait until they come to your house to deliver your mail, or you could take it up to the post office. Or if you didn't know this, on your mailbox, you know the little red flag that's on it. If you put something in the mailbox and you raise your red flag up, that means that there's something in there that your postal worker needs to pick up from you. So if you wanted to deliver it that way, you would put it in your mailbox, lift up that little red flag so that it's sticking up above the mailbox, and then your post office worker would know that they need to pick something up. Just make sure you label that it's for them so that they know what to do with it. Number 8 says communities need good citizens. List 5 ways that you are being a good citizen while at home, then tell which is the most important to you and why in a paragraph. Task 9 says create a card or several to drop off at a local nursing home in your community. Let them know that we are thinking about them and that they are loved. So one way that you could deliver those, I know that several of the local nursing homes are accepting like drop-offs. So if you wanted to have a parent call ahead and see when would be a good time to do that, I know a lot of them will say like, okay, you can come and drop it off at the front desk between this time and this time. they'll have somebody come out and meet you like outside the door so that you can give it to them, and then they'll distribute those cards to people in the nursing home. And if you have any questions about how to deliver those, or if you need any help with that, feel free to reach out to me. I know a couple of our parents have asked questions about how we can make something like that work, and they've volunteered to help deliver those. So if you need any help with that, just reach out and we can definitely make that happen. So that's all of your tasks for your Social Studies Choice Board. That's for this week and for next week. If you need any more clarification on any of those, just let me know. And I will go ahead and post those anchor charts in our Facebook groups and on our Google site. So let me know if you have any more questions.